So my name is Matt Talbot. I'm from Presque Isle, Maine. I graduated University of Rhode Island, College of Pharmacy, class of 2014. I chose URI because they had an esteemed reputation nationwide and especially in New England. And my family has been in pharmacy for a number of years. I'm actually a fifth generation pharmacist. My grandfather, Joseph, graduated from URI in 1958. So upon evaluating my pharmacy options, URI was always near the top. And once I finally got to visit prior to my decision, seeing the area and what the campus had to offer really made the decision very easy for me to choose URI.
Yeah, I agree. I'm from Narragansett originally, so I
Oh, cool.
saw, I mean, I never, URI's right down the road, but I never really got to go see it. So when I toured it, I was like, this is great. I can be right near home and still, feel like I'm in college. So
Yeah, and you were able to see the transformation too of the campus. So
yeah,
because even I was impressed by the campus even before they made the infrastructure investment that they've done over the years. So that was just an added perk. Once shortly after I got enrolled there is when they started the work on the new biology building, and then shortly after the new pharmacy building. So I was able to get the last couple of years of my schooling in the new pharmacy building. So, and I understand, I think they have a chemistry building too now. Is that correct?
yeah, it's beautiful. It's really, really nice. And
Yeah,
I was able to take organic chemistry lab in that new building. So that was
great.
kind of cool. And now they have a new engineering building, which is also awesome. They have like a cafe in there. We would go and study in there all the time.
Yeah,
And it's just a great, they've done a lot with the campus. So it's really
yeah.
exciting.
They definitely, the university and the state, they've definitely put a lot of work, and it shows.
So now I'm just going to ask a couple questions that are more like setting specific. So, um, just talk a little bit about your background and why you chose to you opened your own pharmacy. I understand. Sounds
Yep.
like
Well, I purchased the pharmacy from my father. So as I'd said before, we've been in the pharmacy business for 5 generations now. So the pharmacy as it is now was originally started by my grandfather, who graduated from URI. And my father went to Mass College of Pharmacy, and in the 80s moved back home and took over. So he ran the pharmacy through the 80s and 90s and into the 2000s. And my grandfather passed away in 2004. It was shortly before that that I was really considering pharmacy. Um, Science and math was always a strong point of mine in school. So, and just getting the exposure to the independent pharmacy growing up, it made it a pretty easy decision to continue to pursue that. So, yeah, that's pretty much the main reason or catalyst for how I got into the pharmacy space. And just with how I work and my personality, I always wanted to kind of be my own boss and be able to set the direction for how I saw the business and where we wanted to branch out to and grow. So that was always pretty important to me as well.
so. What was the most challenging part about kind of transitioning into opening? Like, I know the business was already kind of
Yep.
open, but how did you transition into it becoming yours, I guess?
So I purchased the pharmacy in June of 2019. So, but I had been running it as the pharmacist in charge since pretty much since I got licensed, which was July of 2014. So the most challenging part, um, I would say, was just keeping pretty much adapting and modernizing the pharmacy for what the emerging trends in the marketplace were. And example of that was it was a very traditional pharmacy when I started working there, mostly retail walk-in with a drive-through, and we also serviced some long-term care facilities as well and did the consulting portion on top of that. But as far as any enhanced services and vaccinations, that wasn't a space that they were into, and that wasn't anything that my father really saw himself branching into. So I actually, one of the first things I did was establish the vaccination program. I actually did that kind of when I was in your shoes, when I was a P4. So establishing vaccination program and the protocols, getting established with Medicare B in order to bill for those services. So that was kind of one example of a challenge to try to modernize and get with the current day and what some of the trends in the marketplace were beyond just the dispensing portion of the pharmacy.
Yeah,
And
that's
also another challenge that um, school does a decent job at, but is mostly on the job training, is managing people and trying to get a team to work together in the best way possible, because everyone responds differently to things, and just trying to figure out each person's individual characteristics and how to really optimize and motivate them to work to the best of their ability, and work well with others is extremely important in any pharmacy setting, and especially when it's your own business.
definitely. Yeah, I feel like URI prepares us for that, but there's no amount of education that could ever really prepare us for
Exactly.
how to manage people.
Yep, you can take as many communications classes and marketing classes, but yeah, it's when you get on the job, that's when you really learn and see how it works in the real world.
How do you feel like URI prepares you for this role?
I would so one of the best things I would think, in addition to just having an excellent foundation as a clinical pharmacist through the program, is I was able to establish some very meaningful relationships with individual professors at URI. Um, for example, I with Dr. Estes through her geriatrics elective, I was able to work very closely with her, and I ended up doing a P4 rotation um, in the consulting space to kind of help um, get myself ready for continuing on with servicing long-term care facilities and consulting, and really specializing in the geriatric needs, because everyone knows that the aging population is only getting larger and larger, and that means the pharmacy demands for that population are gonna grow as well. So and another example is Dr. Orr. I did independent study with her, and also helped revive the National Community Pharmacists Association student chapter at URI. Um, so, and through that, there was excellent networking opportunities to be able to meet some of the other independent owners in Rhode Island, and just to be able to talk to them to see what kind of challenges that they're experiencing day to day and year to year, and how they've responded to it, and what they see for the future as far as pharmacy goes. So Yeah, NCPA was excellent. I participated in the business plan competition with Dr. Orr, and being able to, and it's great because that business plan ended up coming to fruition a few years later because it helped. We had talked about expanding the pharmacy to a new location while I was still in college, and that business plan was really what helped us execute that a few years later because I had a lot of the work, the floor plan, the design, and how the workflow would work in the new facility already planned out. So yeah, being able to execute that and see it actually go from paper to real life was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Faculty is definitely super helpful at URI. I feel like Dr. Orr and Dr. Estes, well, Dean Orr now, she's the new assistant dean.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah,
Oh,
so
that's awesome.
yeah, just this past semester, she became the new dean, assistant dean. So um, yeah, they all really just want to help us, and I feel like they want us to be successful, and it's so awesome. So how do you see the profession of pharmacy evolving, and how will you adapt your business to how pharmacy evolves?
Yep. So any retail pharmacist will tell you that the enhanced services that pharmacists can provide is really, it has to be the way of the future moving forward. Um, the dispensing portion of pharmacy is never going to go away, but the reliance on that as an independent pharmacy owner, it definitely needs to. There's some diversification that's required, and being able to design and implement an effective enhanced services portfolio that your pharmacy can offer is very important. So going beyond um, the vaccine programs, for example, point of care testing program is something that, especially with the COVID-19 pandemic, really catalyzed the need for me to be able to implement that. So COVID testing, Group A strep, rapid flu testing, those are all things that we're in the process of implementing right now. Establishing standing orders with local providers to be able to test and then subsequently prescribe. Um, because if it's great if you can test, but you really need to be able to act upon the results of that test immediately and not be reliant on an outside provider in order to do that. So that's very important. Being able to host educational seminars for your client base and customers is very important, and being able to bill for those services because everyone knows that pharmacists typically in the retail setting don't typically practice to the top of what their license really allows them to do. So, and most people understand that pharmacists are knowledgeable, but it's when you get into opportunities like that that people really begin to realize and appreciate the value that pharmacists can bring to the healthcare sector. So, as far as adapting my business, I've am looking to expand the vaccination program, get into point of care testing, and then educational seminars like asthma and COPD, congestive heart failure, smoking cessation, diabetes. Those kinds of educational opportunities are definitely going to be important with this population that we're seeing.
Definitely. I do feel like the pharmacy profession is always growing and changing, even since I started school 6 years ago. So
Yep.
Always new things happening. But those were all the questions that I had prepared. Was there anything that I didn't ask or talk about that you wanted to share?
Hi. I've always been extremely appreciative of the education that URI provided to me. I took advantage of most opportunities that I could on campus, and there was a lot of them at URI. URI is always gonna hold a special place in my heart, and I love going back to visit whenever I can. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to this summer due to the pandemic, but I very much look forward to being able to come back to campus to see what's changed and be able to run into some of the professors who helped guide me on the journey.
Thank you so much for doing this with me today, Saturday
Absolutely.
morning. Appreciate it a lot, and good luck with everything that you're doing.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your time there.
I will.
Have a
Bye.
great day.